Subscribe to our channel, press the bell icon and never miss an update from Latestly.
So the currency can either be a commodity or which has intrinsic value in itself, or it has to be a debt instrument. Now, do cryptocurrencies answer to this? Cryptocurrencies do not conform to this understanding of a currency as they do not have an issuer. They are not an instrument of debt. They are not commodities, nor do they have any intrinsic value. Now, currency needs trust, yes, but everything that can be trusted doesn't become a currency. So even if technology, as in a blockchain, provides the trust for cryptocurrencies, they can at best perform the role of a currency within the private and closed environment of that cryptocurrency network. They do not and should not automatically become a currency for the larger society. It's important to understand, I'm sort of dwelling at some length on the basics just to understand that loosely worded things one must be very careful about. Some countries tend to treat cryptocurrency as a financial asset. This is also problematic. Why? Because all financial assets have underlying cash flows and need to be some person's liability. Think of any financial asset. Think of a stock, think of a bond, anything. It has to be someone's liability and it has to have an underlying cash flow. Cryptocurrencies have neither. They are neither any person's liability nor do they have any underlying cash flows. They are not financial assets by definition. Okay, there is also an effort to treat cryptocurrencies as a commodity. Now, but commodities are tangible and have utility. Cryptocurrencies have neither. There is this somewhat awkward attempt to equate some of them with gold. Hence, limiting their supply like natural resources or creating them through a process which is called mining. Limiting supply by design is not the same thing as limited supply in nature, like gold has. Because A, design can always be modified, and hence such limitation is artificial. And B, even if one cryptocurrency has limited supply, that limitation does not work for all cryptocurrencies taken together. We have seen in the data a while back that there is not one or two or three. There are 17,000 and odd cryptocurrencies, and they continue to grow. They can be created, almost in an infinite fashion. So limited supply is not really a tenable argument. Further, the fact that gold is mined does not in itself make it money. It has to be stamped and issued by a sovereign to make it money. So we have seen that it's neither a currency nor a financial asset nor a commodity. If cryptocurrencies are none of these things in the usual term of usual sense of the terms, then what exactly are they? The proponents have improvised to call them as digital assets. Now, even that is doubtful. I'm no expert on digital assets, but even that is doubtful as they do not have any underlying use. Like, for instance, a car hiring software like Uber, that's a digital asset. Or a core banking system, that's a digital asset. It serves a purpose. Or for that matter, a smartphone, that's a digital asset. That basically leads to the conclusion. What exactly is the purpose served by the cryptocurrency, the software that it does, apart from the buying and selling that people indulge in? Does it have any intrinsic use? Nothing that one can know of. That basically leads to the conclusion that it is an electronic code with no practical use, which has created enough hype such that people are willing to pay money to buy ownership rights to that electronic code, seemingly on the hope that someone else would buy it at a higher price in future. That's the only justification. What started off as a medium of exchange, remember that, has appeal similar to that of a speculative asset. As a store of value, cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin have given impressive returns so far, but so did tulips in the 17th century Netherlands. Cryptocurrencies are very much like a speculative or gambling contract working like a Ponzi scheme. In fact, it has been argued that the original scheme devised by Charles Ponzi in 1920 is better than cryptocurrencies from a social perspective. Even Ponzi schemes invest in income-earning assets. A Bitcoin is more like those of you who understand finance, and all of you are bankers, you will understand that. A Bitcoin is akin to a zero coupon perpetual bond. It's like you paid money to buy a bond which pays no interest and which will never pay back the principal. Okay, a bond with similar cash flows, where would you value it? Would be valued at zero, which in fact can be argued as the fundamental value of a cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrencies are typically global products whose defining characteristic is that they are outside official control and they cannot be regulated by country-specific regulators. The Financial Stability Institute of the BIS identifies difficulties in regulating cryptos, such as the international nature of crypto transactions, absence of technological solutions to ensuring FATF's travel rule, the problem of unhosted wallets, the fact that P2P transactions do not involve any entity subject to AML CFT regulations, etc. Let us suppose India decides to regulate cryptocurrencies. How would it regulate and address a case of mis-selling, as it has no access to the ledger nor to any audit trail? It's not always possible to know who of the persons who are the management for cryptocurrencies. At whom would the regulatory action be targeted? If for any reason the entire system collapses, what possible regulatory redressal exists for investors? These are questions with very uncomfortable implications that do not have satisfactory answers or solutions. I will now end. We have seen that crypto technology is underpinned. I'll just summarize. We have seen that crypto technology is underpinned by a philosophy to evade government controls. Cryptocurrencies have specifically been developed to bypass the regulated financial system. These should be reason enough to treat them with caution. We have also seen that cryptocurrencies are not amenable to the definition of a currency, asset, or commodity. They have no underlying cash flows. They have no intrinsic value. They are akin to Ponzi schemes and may even be worse. These should be reason enough to keep them away from the formal financial system. Additionally, they undermine the financial integrity, especially the KYC regime and AML CFT regulations, and at least potentially facilitate antisocial activities. More substantially, they can, and if allowed, most likely will, wreck the currency system, the monetary authority, the banking system, and in general, government's ability to control the financial system and the economy. They threaten the financial sovereignty of a country and make it susceptible to strategic manipulation by private corporates creating these currencies or governments that control them. All these factors lead to the conclusion that banning cryptocurrency is perhaps the most advisable choice open to India. We have examined the arguments proffered by those advocating that cryptocurrencies should be regulated and found that none of them stand up to basic scrutiny.